Hi, listeners. Today's episode contains a discussion of Quiet on Set at around 35 minutes, where we talk about some sensitive topics. If you want to skip this, fast forward to 46 minutes. Thanks. Hey, everybody. You're listening to the Fake Book Club podcast, where we talk about everything from movies, music, life, and occasionally the books we're reading. Follow us wherever you find your podcasts. Hope you enjoy the show. I'm Chris, and I'm here today with...
Tessa.
Whitney.
Tabrizia.
Evelyn.
Alright, and before we get started, I want to mention that we are not affiliated nor sponsored by any brands or labels we may talk about during this recording. Yet. With that, let's kick it off with how everybody felt about the apocalypse this past week.
Oh my God.
With the earthquake and the eclipse happening.
If you're listening to this podcast, you've survived the apocalypse. Congratulations.
So, I only knew about the earthquake because Tabrizia texted me. I was like, oh, and I was outside when it happened. I was on my way. I was headed to the train station, or I was on the train platform already. And I was like, what are y'all talking about?
I heard that people who were in the subway didn't feel it.
Yeah, somebody that I work with also said that they were like on the train and had no idea what happened until they came above ground.
Everyone was freaking out. I was like, what? My boss was like, are you okay? I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I had just woken up maybe 20 minutes before the earthquake, so I was still groggy and was like starting to make breakfast. And then Tessa's like, did you feel that? I was like, what?
To be fair, like the way it felt like something was going on in the floor above us. Like maybe someone had heavy machinery or like was doing something.
Like dropped something and we're
dropped
just
something
like...
heavy,
Typical upstairs neighborhood.
Or like a heavy truck passed in front of the,
exactly.
the house or something.
That's what a lot of people thought it was.
It was comparable to the subway moving underground. But I felt it under my feet, and that's when I knew, oh, that's not from upstairs. It is not death from above.
Yeah. I'm on the top floor of my building, so it could not be people above me. But it could have been construction, which has been happening outside my building all the time. But it went on too long.
It went on a little too long.
Too long, like everything shaking. And the problem, I was in a meeting at the time, presenting a meeting. And everyone saw me freak out on camera. So the nice thing was I was an alert system for people in Boston. So they were like a few seconds after I said, oh my God, what's happening? They're like, oh, we feel it.
No,
mind you, I didn't get a notification until like an hour after it happened.
Everyone started getting notifications like at 12 in the afternoon. I'm like, the earthquake happened. What are you talking about? But yeah, I was in my office that I share with my coworker, and then all of a sudden we feel the shaking, and I'm looking and I was like, what is that? And he's like, oh, that's probably a truck, and he just went back to his reading.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
That's
like...
not a truck.
People would dismiss it so easily when it was so clearly something else.
Because the last time New York had an earthquake that actually made an impact was like 10, 15 years ago?
No, it was more recent. It was definitely pre-COVID.
On the 5 on the Richter scale or more?
There was an earthquake that I think it happened later in the day. I was definitely at home when it happened.
No, it wasn't an aftershock. It was another earthquake.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
in a cafe.
Apparently the aftershocks were not felt by anybody because they were that low.
Oh.
But that second earthquake was the one in the afternoon.
There was we thought it was an aftershock. It was a second earthquake.
It was a second earthquake.
I had no idea.
I did not know that. We all thought it was an aftershock. Same. But we were in a cafe and there's like glassware on the walls and they all rattled at the same time and everyone in the cafe looked at each other like, did y'all just feel that?
No, maybe it was my brain playing tricks on me, but I felt maybe a little bit of an aftershock at some god-awful time in the morning, like around 2 or 3. I was like, why am I shaking?
My sister said she might have felt something in the middle of the night, but I sleep like a log, so I couldn't tell if it was something.
Want to know something funny?
What?
Apparently there was another earthquake in New Jersey 2-3 days ago.
Yeah, I did hear that.
What day was that?
The 10th. There was another one, but it was only 2.6. So nobody felt
no,
it.
The tectonic plates are shifting, hun.
Oh my God. So now there's earthquakes? And
now we're getting earthquakes.
I'm like
everyone who was originally from the West Coast at my job immediately jumped in like y'all are not.
Yeah, you guys are fine.
You guys are fine.
Because and the thing was like not all of New York City like felt it, because even though I was in the Bronx, my mother who's further up north in the Bronx, she didn't feel it. She was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, there was an earthquake. She's like, really? I'm like, okay.
I had coworkers in Connecticut and like Pennsylvania who felt it. So
that's funny.
Yeah, she was probably doing something and she didn't think of it as an earthquake, but she said, yeah, I didn't feel anything.
These old buildings, like,
These old pipes. I wonder how people who live near the subway felt, because they probably didn't feel a goddamn thing.
They probably didn't, because
they were probably
like,
just like, the trains are actually more frequent today. Like, I wonder what's going on.
Like, the train came on time? Oh my god.
Someone said, like, I thought, like, someone in their building had actual construction going on, and they thought that was it.
Yeah, because that was like, but it's never that, like, you're shaking.
Yeah.
And then everything around you is shaking. That's what my coworker said. This is probably a truck. It's like, that's not a truck. Like,
it could have been.
It could have been, like...
If the truck was ramming into the building.
No. We have, like, Amazon trucks, UPS trucks.
There's nothing that
shakes.
Was it, like, what, 10 seconds or something at least?
I was, like...
it wasn't minutes. It was seconds.
Yeah,
so.
15 seconds, and then all of a sudden it just stopped.
It stopped.
And we were like, what happened? And everyone came out of their, like, the desk and office, like, did everyone feel that? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, legitimately, I was just like, what's going on?
Felt absolutely nothing. But what's funny is because I think I was on the Gun Hill platform, or elevated platform, and I see that shit sway sometimes on a gust of wind, but an earthquake, I was like, nothing. I guess I'm fine.
She's right.
Yeah.
That should be the scary part.
I've been on it when it's been swaying in the wind, but an earthquake, no. I guess those beams are more stable than we all think.
That's so funny. All right, but what about the eclipse?
I never want to hear the word solar and eclipse again, so I'm going to stay mute.
What was funny was I was on the way to the school where I'm currently working at, and I passed by the Queen, like one of the Queen's Library branches, and as I'm walking there, I'm like, I wonder if they still have the eclipse glasses in there.
It was like all day. So for our listeners in the New York City area and probably other libraries, they were giving away solar eclipse glasses to people, and all of the New York City libraries were doing that. And most of my Saturday, the Saturday before the eclipse and the Monday of, has just been answering the phone saying, we don't have the eclipse glasses, so please stop calling us.
But did you really run out?
Yeah, we really ran out. We didn't have the energy to save any for us. Even though I did save one for you.
Did
you use it?
Yes.
But it was just nonstop. Like, people's like, do you have the eclipse glasses? Like, oh, great. Can you save 20? Like, no, we're not saving any.
20?
Yes, 20.
Jesus. That sounds like it was for a school. Then.
It's for a class.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't even give them out to a class because
there are some rules and regulations.
Yeah, there we go.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, there was a certain thing that people had to do.
God damn.
In order to
so you have to probably fill out like a request form or some random ass piece of paper. Yeah.
So how would most schools get their?
Probably by doing
that's
that.
why we didn't allow schools to get. I mean, if it was through the library, they couldn't get it through us.
Yeah, they probably had to apply or something.
Yeah.
Because I know for the like I said, I was in the school when the eclipse was happening, and a bunch of what they were doing was they were taking kids out in shifts. So they would have 20 kids outside with the solar eclipse glasses on, staring at the eclipse happening. Be like, all right, come back inside, switch them off, pass those glasses off to the next class.
That's when you get pink eye.
Oh my
It's an elementary school. They have pink eye regardless.
Wait, so they did this because they only had like 20 classes for the whole school?
No, I'm exaggerating. I don't know if it was 20, but like they would basically be taking classes out in shifts in order to share the classes.
That's wild.
That's messed up. Why couldn't some big company, I don't know, some light company, I don't know.
They probably did. It's just that, like,
wouldn't it be more useful to like teach these kids to make the pinhole like cereal?
That's true too. Yeah.
I mean, I was at a point where when we ran out of glasses, because I saw on NASA's website they had the instructions like, oh, here's how you can make your own.
You could have also just watched the eclipse on NASA's website.
Exactly, that too.
That is true.
I was indoors the entire time of the eclipse, and I part of me felt bad, but also I'm just like, I'm comfy here with my cup of tea, watching the eclipse on the NASA YouTube.
Yeah. And it's like, we tried to do that in the classroom that I was in, me and the other artist, but we couldn't get the website to work on like the screen that they had, like the smart TV
the smart
screen.
board,
So we just walked outside and like grabbed glasses from the security guard who had like T-Mobile Eclipse glasses.
I had those.
So funny.
Free. If you're a T-Mobile member, you just
Did they work?
free.
They did.
Yes.
I did see it, and then like immediately afterwards had a little bit of eye strain. I was like, fucking
I did have eye strain.
I was like, fucking T-Mobile.
I wasn't sure if it was looking up that got you dizzy, or was it the glasses itself?
No, I think they said if you look at it for a long period of time,
regardless,
because I was like, because our security guard, he's like, yeah, it's happening. So I got my glasses, and then I looked up, and it was like, okay, I'm done.
That like reddish orange.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was nice. It was pretty nice. But I did see.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did see the live stream of NASA, and that one, of course, was better because it was
it's
in Mexico, and it was the total, and
It's
it
the
was
total eclipse.
Yeah.
It's the total, which looks a lot better than.
There was a feed from Arizona and from Texas, and that's the one I caught.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got to see it live. I have a part of my job includes going to different sites, so it just happened. I just happened to be at a site, so we went on the roof. We're supposed to. We went on the roof and I was able to see it that way. It felt like a cool pseudo bonding moment with everyone.
That sounds awesome. I know I had friends that were like posting pictures from like the beaches out in like Long Island or upstate. Like showing off, like, or like by the lakes, I think was also a popular spot.
We saw other people on roofs too, so I was like, hey, waving.
Like, if I had rooftop access, I would have absolutely gone to the roof of the school to see that.
But I'm glad it's over.
For another
I never want to deal with that again. That was a horrible experience.
It's so bad that it colors your entire experience.
It really does.
It really is a phenomenon
it
doesn't happen that often.
It is, but it was just like, I feel like it's when people get things for free, it's just like it turns an ugly side to them. And
all right, that's
like,
fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and it took like, and it was supposed to be a pleasurable and learning experience, and it just really shows an ugly side of themselves, and just shows them being so greedy and just can't just accept for what it is, and that's what really.
I mean, look, the kids were ecstatic.
Yeah, the kids were happy.
They were so happy, and I'm just like, honestly, this is for them. At this point.
And a lot of the kids that came in, they were asking their parents, hey, can you ask them for the glasses? It wasn't really adults who wanted them. It was the kids.
It was the kids, yeah.
So, and that I can take away from it. It was like a nice experience. But yeah, it's just, adults.
Adults are adults.
Adults are adults.
Just absolute trash.
Yes.
I will say eclipses happen very frequent, much more frequently than anyone thinks. It is rare that like that one's area would be in the path of totality.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone was very much chasing after.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have 3 friends
see that,
who were in the path of totality. 2 of them had clouds in the sky, so we saw it better than they did. But I had a friend near Cleveland who had great shots she sent me.
That's
cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I think it was for New York. It was
Buffalo.
I think it was upstate, like
Rochester.
Buffalo,
It was
Rochester, and then
hometown.
I'll show you pictures my friend sent me. It's all clouds.
It's all clouds.
My mom sent me pictures.
Yeah, that's just taking pictures of the clouds.
Yeah. And it did get dark for them, so it was a nice experience of it.
I got Arizona photos.
A friend of ours went to Montreal to see the eclipse.
Oh.
I think they had a good time.
That's
it was
cool.
just them.
Just also going to Montreal.
Yeah. But like that
That's on the
was
list.
their sole purpose of going. But I'm excited to see how the overall trip went because Montreal is actually so beautiful and it's French. So
I've heard. Wait, you've been?
yeah, I
Oh,
went
good
for. It's been like a really long time, maybe a decade and a half,
Yeah.
but. I'm sure not much has changed in that time,
Wow.
other than some
Buildings.
some buildings or some modifications.
I mean,
for
a decade
modernity.
does change a lot, though.
True.
Like, a lot can change in 10 years.
I think I
True.
know someone who went to Vermont for the eclipse.
Mm.
I'm just not sure.
They had good views. I think they
Yeah,
had
I
good
think
views.
they had good ones. All right,
Alright.
cool. Just some quick notes from the last podcast. So the Codex Alera series, which I am reading, is actually 6 books, and each book is actually more than 500 pages.
Oh my god.
It was not 5
It was not, it was not 5 books, and it was not 500 pages exact. It was more than like one of them I think has 700 pages. And also, John Wick 4 is the John Wick movie that takes place in Japan.
Yes.
The third one is where they go to the Middle East. We got that wrong in the last one.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you for that correction.
But let's move on to what we're reading this week. Starting with Tabrizia, we have The Gathering.
Yes. So this is by C.J. Tudor. This is her latest book that actually came out this past Tuesday. So C.J. Tudor writes a lot of horror novels, and she one of her most popular ones, The Burning Girls, was just adapted into a Paramount Plus TV series. So it is on Paramount Plus. And so her latest one, The Gathering, it takes place in a small town in Alaska. I've never read a book that takes place in Alaska, so this is different for me. And it deals with a young boy who has she has to come up from, I believe, somewhere in the northern part of the United States to come in to investigate this grisly murder of a young boy who is apparently killed by a vampire. Yeah.
Not where I thought that was going.
Yeah, I know. And this is like the cool thing about this is because in her setting in the story, it's not about like, oh, are vampires real and stuff like that. It's accepting the fact that vampires are real. It is part of society. There's actually rules and colonies where vampires have to live separate from the humans, but also there's something called a cull, that there cannot be a cull of an entire colony of vampires without the approval of the government, unless there's like a death of a human being, which is why this detective is coming in to call into this crime, because she has to decide whether or not if she can authorize a cull of the nearby colony if this grisly murder of this young boy was indeed killed by a vampire. And she has to deal with like this the small town of their dark secrets and superstitions. It is just a very, like, C.J. Tudor does an amazing job of thinking outside of the box, but also really creating a suspenseful horror and thriller. And I absolutely love this book so far. I'm only like a quarter way through it, and I don't know where she's going to go with this, because she just dives into like different themes. Like I can see a lot of like with immigration kind of aspects in it, because you have like the separation, like, oh, it's like us versus against them, and just like with everything that's going on in the world out there. And she just does a really great job with it. And I'm remarkably surprised with this because I hate books with vampires, but I just think that this is a book that's really thinks outside the box. So that's why I'm willing to read it, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Is it CJ Box? Isn't
That's
there?
a different
That's a
author.
I know. That's why I was like, wait, don't they do mystery?
No.
Like,
No.
You're a
that's
CJ
different.
girl.
Yeah, there's a lot of CJ, but yeah, she does horror thriller. It's like if you like Stephen King, you like CJ Tudor.
and you're doing an author event with her soon.
Yes, this coming Tuesday. We won't be sending out the registration link in time for this podcast to be published, but it will. But it will be. It's on our website, and the recording will most likely be on there too. So yeah, I will be interviewing her along with our another fellow librarian and book club member. We'll be interviewing her both on Tuesday. So
we can recap it for next time.
Yeah, be cool.
Regale us with.
I know. Yeah,
talking about vampires that don't sparkle.
I know. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is like because you have like kid vampires too. So it reminds me of what's that little girl's name in the interview with the vampire?
Claire?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
Claudia.
Claudia. Yeah, there's a child vampire in the book that reminds me of Claudia.
Wait, you said you don't read books about vampires, yet you know Claudia. How?
Well, I saw the movie.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen I know we're like going off tangent, but have you seen the show? It's amazing.
I love it.
I've not watched the second season, but the first season
Because it's coming out.
There's going to be a new season coming out also.
Yeah.
So what season are we on?
I think
The second season.
The second now, yeah.
Okay, I haven't started the second
you're
season
good.
yet.
Yeah.
Or is it 3?
No, it's the second season.
This is
That's
the
airing right now.
because I
Okay.
remember seeing a trailer for it on AMC.
Love
Yeah,
this stuff.
yeah,
He's insane.
yeah.
I love
But no,
it.
yeah, the vampires in the Gathering do not sparkle.
No, I was going to say, have you seen the latest True Detective series?
No, but it's funny that you mentioned that because this book is saying like, oh, it's like True Detective meets Interview with the Vampire.
Because
Yeah.
the True Detective, the latest TV series of True Detective is set in Alaska, and
Yeah.
there's
Is
a
that
bunch
with
of
Jodie
murders.
Foster?
Yes,
McConaughey?
it's so good. No,
No,
not
that-
he
that-
was only in the first season.
He was only in the
Yeah.
first season.
So it's
Okay.
kind of like a reboot every time, but yeah, the
okay.
vibe that you were giving me was definitely giving me some.
That
True
sounds
Detective.
like 30 Days and 30 Nights.
It's a bit of that, yeah, because it was during that
Is that
time
also,
too.
That's also in Alaska, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
It's vampires.
It's so much
Yeah.
easier to
It'll-
put everything in Alaska.
Yeah, because it
Josh
stays
Hartnett.
dark for so
that was so
long.
good,
That's
though.
why they do that. Yeah,
It was based off of a book, I think.
I
A
want
comic
to say
series.
yes.
A graphic
book
novel.
series? Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
makes
based off
sense.
of 30 Days and 30
Yeah,
Nights.
All right, cool. And then we got Talented Mr. Ripley by Evelyn.
Yes, I am reading it right now, and for those listening, you can see a very ancient copy once again from the Queen's Library. Support your local library. This is not from the 60s.
that way they could get the new
This
paperback.
looks like it's from the 60s.
Because goddamn.
But this is actually a print from 1990 something, but
The
it looks
hell it
very
is.
old. If to describe it, basically, it's like
It
a very
has
gray,
Scotch tape on it.
This is
gray
freaking my
hardcover
heart.
with Scotch tape. It's falling apart.
It's packing
The
tape, sorry.
binding is just
Oh my
almost
God.
non-existent.
Okay, before
They
It was
should-
well loved.
before you get into talking about the book,
Let's judge it.
my librarian heart is breaking right now because first of all,
They should have been through it away.
exactly.
But then I wouldn't have been able to read it. This is
No,
the only copy.
they should have been able to get a
I'm
replacement.
sorry. No.
They don't have the money, Chris. Where are they going to get the
Support
money?
your
to
local
get the-
library.
They're
That's
cutting
what I'm
all our
saying.
funding.
Yeah, you know what? That's
They're
fair.
cutting the funding. I'm going to take a photo of this and I'll put it online for you guys to
Yes.
see just how brutal this
It's
stuff
so
is.
brutal. While she was holding it up, a piece of it fell down.
I saw.
This is true. This is true. A piece of it fell down. I saw a tear fall on
Oh
Patricia's
my
face
God.
as it happened.
Oh
and
my
yeah,
God.
it is pretty beat up. But it is actually a very good book for those not familiar with Patricia Highsmith. She also wrote Carol. She wrote a couple of other books in the Ripley series. I don't know if anyone around here has read any of them.
No,
but-
actually.
Or seen the original movie with Matt Damon.
And Jude Law.
saw like
Jude
a part
Law
of
and
it.
Gwyneth
I mean,
Paltrow.
I did see Saltburn. If that, it's kind of the same thing.
I've heard. I haven't seen Saltburn. It's on my list, but yeah.
I've
it's-
heard things about Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah. Well, the premise for those not familiar with it is some guy who's kind of like a bit of a scam artist living in New York is tasked by Dickie Greenleaf's father to find him because he's somewhere in Italy wasting his time. He's painting, but he's a terrible painter. And he's just basically living off the trust fund of his dad because his dad is rich. So he's like, find him, bring my son back or whatever. And so he goes there. But of course, once he's there, he sees the fabulous life he's living. He has a girlfriend named Marge, and she's blonde, she's gorgeous, whatever. And so he wants that life. He sees that life, he wants it. So I guess I don't want to give away too much what happens. Yeah. I mean, it has been around. We sort of know there's a murder that ends up happening and maybe a bit of other sinister things. But the vibe she paints when she writes is so good. I love her style of writing. So readable. If you guys want to check it out. Yeah, it's actually less than 300 pages. So it could be on the list for a book club. I'm telling you. I highly recommend. Yeah. And do watch, I guess I have it later on, but there is a series on Netflix starring Andrew Scott.
Yes. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Very good. So you guys can check that out too.
All right. And then, like I mentioned, I'm still reading the Codex Alera because apparently when I don't have to take the subway every day, I read a lot slower.
No distractions.
Yeah, exactly. And when I'm home, I'm not really reading like that. I'm either playing video games or asleep. Yeah. So.
But what point have you reached in the Codex?
I am on the last book, and I love this series so much.
Is this what you keep rereading?
This is one of the books that I keep rereading. Yeah, this series and the Percy Jackson series are like the two series that I keep rereading. And I'm actually looking at how many books I have that are just series of books. And I think that's all I'm going to read for this year for the most part, is just reread a lot of the series that I've kept. So I have like the Greatcoat series, which is a swashbuckling fantasy
Is it
novel.
Sebastian de Castell?
Yep.
Yeah.
By Sebastian de Castell, which a lot of it is very grounded, and then gods show up and start terrorizing the countryside.
As gods are wont to do.
Yeah, no, legitimately, one of the characters becomes a sort of god partway through, and he hates it, and it's fantastic. There's also the Powder Mage trilogy, which is also just an insane. That's the one by
Brian McClellan.
Brian McClellan, which is essentially if the French Revolution had magic. So and straight down to the whole. It starts with like the decapitation of high society and just devolves from there. And then once again, the giant god shows up halfway through the battle and just destroys everything. It's fantastic. But yeah, no, I think that's what I think I'm just gonna do that because I've kept so many books that I just want. I should probably reread some of them.
Do you reread them for comfort because you already know the story because you loved it, or what's the deal there? Because there's so many books that you could go to, right? Other fantasy. I want to check out something else. Like, why do you go back to the same thing?
So I think a part of it is comfort because I know the stories. I know how I enjoy the stories, which is why I kept the books. But a part of it also is just. Once I get into a series, I do that thing where like I start skipping sentences and paragraphs as I'm reading. So going back to it, it's just me catching things that I didn't catch beforehand, or it's like, oh, this was foreshadowed 3 books ahead, and that's cool to catch sometimes. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And then we have Whitney reading Yakuza Lover, which Tessa was also freaking out about.
Listen.
I'm not a dark romance reader too much because if some bad boy crazy criminal in real life came up to me, I'd be calling the cops. But I love a mafia, Yakuza, organized crime romance. So then when I discovered Yakuza Lover, like maybe 3-ish years ago.
Yeah.
Before pre-pandemic for sure, I was like, oh, this is for me. And it's very spicy. It's about
it's
so spicy.
Yeah, I
was like,
it's good spicy.
It's a good spicy.
Wow. It's good spicy.
I was like, because I read the first volume. I was like, yeah, Whitney, this is for you.
This is for me.
This is manga, right?
Yes, it's manga. Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So it's 12 volumes. It finished in 2022, so the last volume is being published or printed like May or June of this year for the American audiences. And I'm being good. I didn't read the scans. I am going to read them legally. But
they are easily borrowable from the library.
All right,
you
that's fair.
have
Yeah.
so many ways to get it.
Yes,
we do.
But it's about this girl named Yuri, who gets attacked at a party, and this mafia prince Oya saves her, and so she goes to thank him, and then they just work on their attraction, and it's definitely a push and pull, like, I shouldn't be with this person, he's a criminal, but I love him, and we're so good together. And then of course there's like all of these side characters who don't want them to be together, or, you know, she'll be a damsel in distress and what have you. But I love the art. Again, this is totally my type of story, and I think I just can't wait to finish it. And I'm reading other things too, but I can talk about those next time.
Sorry,
for sure.
I just found out something very wild. Apparently in other countries besides the US, you can find the anime or the
It's a live action.
You can find the live action on Disney Plus if you're not in the US.
Well, I can get a VPN, but there are also other places I like to watch.
But yeah, no, it's good. Like when you search it on Google, it shows up as Disney Plus,
That's so
and I'm just
wild.
like, watch Yakuza Lover on Disney Plus.
I feel like it's not as spicy.
It probably isn't.
I feel like the movie wouldn't be as spicy, but I definitely want to watch it.
Like, technically, I've only read like maybe the first couple of volumes because I discovered this, I think, within the last 2 years, and I think much like anyone else with some sense, I would also call the cops immediately if a mafia type dude came up to me. But it's the way they play, like their attraction for each other, and the way that they do that push and pull, like challenging each other's boundaries, is very good. And like, despite the fact that she's a damsel in distress, you can tell she does have agency.
I want to read. There's another one called Yakuza's Wife, and I need to read that one.
Is it the same, like...
No, it's a different...
Okay, it's a different series altogether.
It's becoming a trend now in like manga, because like featuring characters from the Yakuza, because you have the way of the house husband,
which is fun.
That was hilarious.
Incredibly fun.
Yeah, and then
and
there's one
that's retired. Like the guys are
retired. But I mean, it has like not same elements, but they're taking that aspect from it. And then also there's ex Yakuza cat sitter or something like that. I saw it. I was like, this is so funny.
Isn't Sakamoto Days also like an ex?
Yes, he's also
Mm-hmm.
like, he keeps getting challenged at his job.
Mm-hmm.
And,
and then he's more afraid of his wife.
I mean, as one should be.
I feel like when you have a job like that, there's only one thing. Like John Wick, he gave up everything for his wife. And I love a wife guy. And I think at the end of the day, and then we can move on to the next topic, but at the end of the day, I love a story where the bad boy is a bad boy until he meets the love of his life. Then we all know who wears.
Give us a man that is down bad for the love of his life. That's all we want.
Gomez.
Yes, a wife guy.
Gomez Adams.
Yes, but we need more.
But give us more.
Give us more.
All the time. Give us more.
Actually, before we move on, Tessa, is there anything that you're reading or want to mention?
No, I can briefly mention this, because the thing I did just finish reading is this book by Sara Raasch called The Nightmare Before Kissmas. It's coming out, I think, later this year, October, I think. And it's basically about the Prince of Halloween meets the Prince of Christmas, and they fall in love. It's pitched as Red, White, and Royal Blue meets The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's super quirky, incredibly funny, but also I'm so into like the way they do the romance, because there's so much yearning.
Oh, I love yearning. I love pining and yearning.
The premise sounds so good.
It's incredibly funny, and makes this. I actually also would dare to kind of compare it a little bit to like Rise of the Guardians in a bit, like because it has that idea of like the
myths and folktales.
Yeah, there's a myth and folklore aspect to like these holidays that it really leans into.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I like took a quick peek at that, and I didn't realize it was a modern book. I thought it was gonna be more like.
You read it? You picked it off the couch?
No, when I like looked over your shoulder, and I was like, "Are these text messages?" I was like, I thought this was gonna be like full on fantasy style.
No, it's not.
But it's really not.
It's so modern. It's so modern day. That's
like,
why I said
text messages.
It's very red, white, and royal blue. Like that's like.
It's just like, oh my god, I was not ready for
Do
that.
they live in our realm, or is it?
They do.
Altered? Okay.
They have a realm. There is like a magical realm where they all reside, but they do have lives also in the real world.
Okay.
Like,
Which is really a really cool aspect, actually.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Lore Olympus.
Oh, okay.
Do they have real worlds? They do. They do have some real world stuff too. I love Lore Olympus.
We are in our last era of Lore Olympus.
I know.
It's
the
final season's coming.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
she made a mention.
I
in
stopped
she's
reading
like,
because I just wanted to be complete, and I want
Same.
to know that everything is going to be okay. It's not gonna be okay. I will not be okay.
Speaking of not okay, Tabrizia, do you want to talk about Quiet on the Set?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What is okay?
Or would you like to skip that?
No, it's I put it on there because it is something that we should discuss. So yes, Quiet on the Set, the dark side of kids TV. It's been trending a lot lately ever since its premiere last month. It focuses on a lot about Nickelodeon, and but also mainly about Dan Schneider, who is a producer of a lot of children's TV shows on Nickelodeon, and the work environment that he created on these TV shows, and basically how Nickelodeon really looked away and just let it slide all this time. For someone who grew up on Nickelodeon, who was a 90s kid, who watched a lot of stuff on Nickelodeon, this TV series broke my heart because I was like, how could any of this happen? And it is heart-wrenching, but I feel like it is necessary to watch because this is something that cannot happen again to anyone, and especially with Drake Bell's revelation, that was really gut-wrenching and really heartbreaking to hear about. And all of this stuff that occurred on I want to say, like, what this documentary series does focus on is Dan Schneider TV shows. There are probably other secrets with a lot of the other Nickelodeon TV shows that have happened, but a lot of the people who did not work on any of the Dan Schneider projects, they have said their experience was completely different. They never had any problem. They felt safe on the sets of the Nickelodeon shows. So this is really strictly with Dan Schneider's stuff. And I know for a fact that I cannot rewatch any of Dan Schneider's stuff ever again the same, because it just, like, you have a different point of view and a different mindset behind it. So they recently released the 5th episode, like Breaking the Silence, like after that, and there were even more revelations. I was like, oh my god, how much more can we take from this? And I know that they want to do a season 2, and I don't know what the second season would entail. It would be more revelations with happening in Nickelodeon. I would just want them to also focus on other children's TV shows that are not necessarily on Nickelodeon, maybe on Disney, but I feel like Disney would put a stop to it because they are Walt Disney.
And they own everything.
Yeah, they basically own everything, yeah. But I do think it is something to explore because like I said, we can't, like, all this stuff that we can't let it happen again because it's just it is a very depressing documentary, but it is something I feel like a lot of people should watch.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched it. I've just seen a lot of clips of it.
Yeah.
I saw, was it specifically Keenan Thompson talked about it because he was just like, Dan Schneider was involved with all that. And subsequently, like, was an executive producer, I believe, on Good Burger, like the movie. Mm-hmm. But as Keenan puts it, he had really little interaction with that with Dan Schneider, especially like once Keenan and Kel spun off of all that. He's listed, I think, also as a producer on there, but he had nothing to do with that set. So he was just like, my heart goes out to them, but I did not experience anything like that. Because of him.
But I think that's also even adding more fuel to the fire because it leads to a lot of the allegations that were brought up in the documentary against race because there were 3 black cast members who felt from all that, they felt like, no, we were not close to him because we felt it was a race thing. Yeah. He was more closer to the white cast members other than with us.
Yeah, no, I also saw that clip too. Yeah. And I was just like, which puts Keenan's comment into, context. It's like, he may have still been listed as executive producer or whatever, but he had nothing to do with that show at all.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, because when I heard Keenan said that, I was like, oh, but then also the other cast members have said that. And then also with one of the allegations in the 5th episode, there was a black cast member in the Amanda show, which I really liked her. And
I love the Amanda.
I don't remember the Amanda show.
Yeah, so but there was a particular black cast member, and where Amanda had to keep spitting water in the black girl's face.
Oh God.
And she was getting really frustrated. And then, like, after the 5th try, she was about to, like, really come after Amanda. And someone had to pull her aside. It's like, I know that you're going to get upset, but you have to put it aside and you have to, like, forget about it.
That's
because she's
messed
the star.
up.
So, but how much of that was directorial versus, like, on purpose for Amanda?
The point, though, is, like, while Dan Schneider seems to be at the center of this, a lot of the other shows were problematic for various reasons.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And then they talk about that, especially with a lot of the sexual innuendos, which, if you look at other Nickelodeon shows, they did it too.
Oh, yeah.
The other than Dan Schneider shows, like if you look at like Rocko's Modern Life, Rugrats, The Angry Beavers, there are a lot of
Stimpy.
And SpongeBob SquarePants. There are a lot of like innuendos that you're like, okay, maybe they should.
I think it's different when it's a cartoon though, and especially if you actually look at the characters of these cartoons, a lot of them, even though they're marketed to kids, a lot of the characters themselves are like listed as 20-something-year-olds. Yeah. Like Rocko was a full-on adult.
Yeah.
SpongeBob, I think, is supposed to be like 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
And the Angry Beavers were also like
they were living on their own, paying their bills.
Yeah.
I also think there might also be the case for like, yes, these cartoons were made for children, but I don't remember at the time of those shows coming up whether there were cartoons made for adults at that time.
No, not really.
And that's why,
so like that's also
The Simpsons.
Oh,
The Simpsons would have been one. South Park, I guess.
Yeah.
But like they
Adult Swim wasn't like a thing.
No,
that became 2000. That was like 2000-ish.
Yeah.
Where it
so
started.
my brain is just thinking these animators and whoever was writing for these things at the time probably were like sneaking things into.
For the adults who are also watching with their kids.
And that's like the same. And that was the argument that Dan Schneider was trying to use for when he was like for the innuendos. He's like, well, kids think that this is funny, and I'm like, you think having a child sucking on someone's foot is funny? It's like having like a foot fetish.
I did hear he has like a
foot fetish. Yeah, and then also having a kid who is clearly saying on camera, I don't feel comfortable with this, having peanut butter licked off by dogs, and he's saying on camera, it's like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't feel comfortable with this.
No, and again, it's a
He's
difference
a pervert.
with
Yeah.
But like, again, that's the difference with cartoons. Is like,
Yeah.
no one is being hurt technically by doing that when it's animated. You know,
Right. And then I think you made up like a good point where you're saying like there were the cartoons, the characters in the cartoons, they're in their 20s.
Yeah, I mean, like, the case could be made, I guess, against Rugrats, where they are babies, but babies that talk are already well into the fans.
I mean, yeah, there were, like, some things, like, when Lil saw Phil's penis.
Exactly. It's like, what is that?
No, it was Tommy. He was like,
It was Tommy, yeah.
Lil, why don't you have the thing?
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, I don't know.
remember that.
And it's like, the case could be made against that, but like, really, at that point, they're also kids. They're not going to know what it is either. So
we knew.
Yeah, exactly. Those who are older will know.
But I mean, I feel like with Dan Schneider's shows specifically, because if you look at the other live action,
like Ned's Declassified,
right,
or...
and they fell really under the radar, and that was partly of Nickelodeon's fault because they relied too solely on Dan Schneider, because he basically, a lot of his shows were ratings juggernaut for Nickelodeon standards, and they utilized that to their advantage, and they forgot about all the other stuff that they did. Yeah. Especially with Ned's Declassified, because I feel like that should have gotten a lot more attention.
I will say, Ned's at least finished.
Yeah.
I did like Ned's Declassified. Except now all this crazy stuff that's coming out about them too.
Oh, yeah. They have their own podcast. Have you listened to it?
No.
It is
active
insane.
Listening
well, yeah. No, I listened to like the first episode of that, and I was like, that is insane. What happened during and after the show ended?
Yeah.
Was just wild. But, that was fun.
Yeah, I know.
Whitney, would you like to talk about Marry My Husband or 911?
I'm going to talk about both of them.
All right.
But
you got
I'm going to do 911 first because that's what I left my house watching. So 911 was a Fox show. It got canceled. They brought it back to ABC. And it's basically if Final Destination was a TV show from the perspective of the EMTs and firefighters, because it is literally every one of your worst nightmares and irrational fears come to life in the worst way possible. One of my most memorable episodes is this lady, and it just seems slight, but this lady was doing goat yoga out of a studio, and all of a sudden she goes blind and can't see. And then you want to know why? It's because she had a worm from the goat in her eye.
It sounds like a House episode.
It really does. I mean, they are network.
Yeah,
siblings.
that's true. Yeah.
Or at the time they were, but now Disney owns Fox and ABC, so they're sister shows anyway. But then now I'm starting the latest season, and it's basically Poseidon, the movie where they're lost at sea and the boat flips over. I'm like, I was just thinking about going on a cruise with my best friend, and now I'm like watching this episode. And then there's like a bridge collapse.
Oh my God.
There's just like, every episode starts off with something ridiculous. And you're just like, oh, all of your fears, all of your irrational fears happen. Like, what happened? This guy was house sitting this man's spider collection, and the spiders got out and stung him to death and wrapped him around in a web.
I have questions. Wait, spiders don't sting; they bite.
Well, whatever.
I have questions.
They bite.
I don't want to see it.
Exactly.
No, I don't care if they bite or sting or anything.
And like one of the main characters, his name is his character's name is Howard Hahn, but he has a firefighter nickname called Chim, which is short for chimney. I forgot the origins of that name, but either way, so everyone calls him Chim. And in one of the first seasons, he gets a rebar through the head.
Jeez.
He survives somehow, but it's like, rebar in his head. I'm like, this is every Final Destination where people live.
There is
sometimes.
precedent for that, though. There's that old, what's it called? There was a story of like a miner from the 1800s who survived with a spike through his head for like the longest time because they couldn't remove it without killing him, so they just left it in.
Well, I mean, they somehow took it out, is what I'm saying.
Oh my god!
But like, and he's alive because he's a character. Jennifer Love Hewitt is also on this, and she looks so good. She is still one of the hottest women in the world, but she's older than us. What is she? Probably in her late 30s, early 40s, probably even or older than that. And she's had kids, and so now she's like curvier, but I don't know if it's her choice or if it's like the costume department's choice, but she does not be showing off that body. I'm like, girl, if you don't put she's always in a peasant top or like something that hides it.
She might be pregnant.
I mean, she could be. Again, some more. Like, I feel like every time she's showing something, every time she's on the show, hiding. But she's not doing that strategic hiding, if that makes sense, where you have, like, a basket in front of you.
Or where you're constantly sitting down all of a sudden.
You're sitting down or have a blanket or a pillow. She was pregnant in the earlier seasons, but now it's just age and the fact that she's had multiple children. But she is still ridiculously pretty. And she's engaged to Chim. But the reason I'm catching up with it is because one of the main it's an ensemble cast, but one of the characters, Evan Buckley, who is Jennifer Love Hewitt's character's brother in the show. Jennifer Love Hewitt's character's name is Maddie, and Buck is her brother. He has recently come out as bisexual. And so now, and he has a male love interest, but the fandom, the 911 fandom, has been shipping him with this other character who started in like season 2 called Eddie. So now their ship name is Buddy.
Oh my god!
Because it's Buck and Eddie.
That's so.
And the thing is, it's not far fetched because they're raising Eddie's kid together.
Well, I was gonna say, is Eddie interested in
No, not yet. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be a Bridgerton thing where it's like, whatever. Where it's like, I'm gonna help you find love with someone else and then fall in love with you already. But I think it's. I lost my train of thought. But so Eddie has a son who has, I think he has palsy. He has some type of mobility disability, and. Eddie has a mother, a father, and at least 2 or 3 siblings, right? And Eddie was like, I don't care if something happens to me, Buck, I want you to be the one to raise my kid. I'm like,
what?
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm like,
that sounds wild.
Is so complicated.
And another thing that happened, there was like a tsunami on like the boardwalk, and
where is this show based?
LA.
Not going to LA.
All right.
It's based in Los Angeles, but Angela Bassett is on the show too.
That is
the hell?
Yeah.
What is this show?
You just keep on
Goddamn.
bringing up some names.
I know. Did anybody watch 6 Feet Under, like in the early 2000s?
I saw like a couple of episodes.
Only a couple.
But, yeah.
So it's about a family who
It's a
family
mortuary,
drama,
right?
who runs a mortuary. So the head of the oldest brother, who I think becomes head of the family at some point, he's also on the show.
Oh.
Peter Krause.
Yes.
Peter Krause.
That's
and he and Angela Bassett are married on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
And they kissed for the first time on the episode I'm watching, because normally they weren't kissing. They were just like embracing or like hugs on the cheek, but they have kissed on the mouth. And I'm like, they're together forever.
Oh my god.
But yes, I feel like a terrible person, because there is queer representation. There is like a black, lesbian couple on the show called Hen and Karen, and they're phenomenal. So I feel bad like getting into it right as I find out that like the white character is bisexual. So I feel a bit whatever about that. But you don't understand. We've been waiting since season 2. We are in season 7 for Buck to finally come out as bi, and it's just been. I'm so excited.
Do you think he was originally written that way, or do you think that the fandom or something had an influence?
I think it's a bit of both, honestly, because in earlier seasons he had an allegorical or something adjacent to like a coming out speech to his therapist, and they kind of set it up for that. The only downside is his love interest for his male love interest is so basic. I'm so disappointed. The actor, I'm just like, he looks just like a West Hollywood, which is like the neighborhood of LA. He just looks like a typical West Hollywood gay man, and I'm just like, I mean, I guess you could argue that the guy who plays Buck can be too, but he's Australian. So yeah, I think everyone should watch it. It's on Hulu if you have it, and it's just a good time to.
That does not sound like it.
It really does. I'm like,
you're now convinced to not go on a cruise. Like, this show has put you off from going on a cruise.
It's fucking Eddie. Okay.
Exactly.
Buddy.
And Chim and Maddie. And Bobby and Athena.
You lost me.
It's the people.
And you lost me at the ship capsize.
But that doesn't happen until season 7. A lot worse things have happened.
So this is supernatural. Gotcha.
Let me sign into my Hulu. I need to watch this right away.
It's a nice show. It's a nice show. And then I'll like briefly talk about Marry My Husband and then move on. But it's a nice show to just have on in the background and not necessarily have to fully pay attention to. So if you struggle like me and Chris with active listening,
I also have active listening issues.
Then
I would just rather put Psych on. Thank you.
Exactly. Psych is such a good show. I have all of them on DVD.
Nice.
And then my second show, and then we can move on to the next person, is Marry My Husband. It's a K-drama, not to be confused with with Perfect Marriage Revenge, but it's essentially the same plot.
Also not to be confused with My Happy Marriage.
It is basically about this woman who gets terminal stomach cancer, and her shitty husband has been cheating on her with her best friend, and they kill her, and so she goes back in time to kind of make it so the shitty friend and the shitty husband like end up together so she doesn't end up dying. And we find out that her love interest in not her shitty husband, but her love interest also got sent back in time. And T also got, and so now they're trying to like end up to, and of course he's a rich Chibble heir of the company that they work at, and so it's just them setting up, trying to get revenge on the best friend, the husband, and then still end up together. That's on Prime. It's by that. I don't know if you've watched, if both people here and eventual listeners have watched My Secretary Kim, but it's the actress from My Secretary Kim in it. So yeah, I will toss it to who's ever next. I think it's back to Tabrizia
for Arrested Development. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's also back to you. We'll go through everybody.
It's fine.
Mine is pretty quick. So I recently rewatched the TV series Arrested Development. I don't know why all of a sudden I just decided to rewatch it. I guess because I think it was back to like what Chris was saying, like rereading books. Like it's just like your comfort show.
Yeah.
So I just decided, I went on Netflix. I'm like, let me I need something funny to watch. And it was still funny. I think like the first 3 seasons, and this is like an ongoing debate when you're talking about Arrested Development, because it's one of those shows that I feel like really brought it ignited that, bringing stuff back that was canceled from years ago, or, rebooting it or restarting it. I feel like that was the start of it. And also it kind of, and probably Netflix will say something differently, but I find it's, in my opinion, it gave them a boost in subscriptions, because when they said that they were bringing the show back, a lot of people decided, because I know I signed up for Netflix because they brought Arrested Development back. So, yeah, the first 3 seasons were really good. The season 4, that was a controversial one because, and I looked into why the creator, I think his name is Mitchell Horowitz, he said that the reason why he did it the original way is because it was very hard to get all the actors to come in at the same time.
Yeah,
come in all at the same time. So he had to find a way to film and also tell the story. So that's why he had like each episode, like say, Michael's development, or
that's interesting.
Michael's Arrested Development. So then, but that was controversial because people felt that it lost the appeal, like how the original 3 seasons were. It wasn't half an hour. I think it was like about, I want to say 40 minutes. And people felt it just dragged the season on longer than it needed to be. The
dynamic was lost. That's the problem. Half the show is the way the actors interact with each other.
Exactly, but he was saying it was like because they all were doing their separate own things. It was hard to bring them back. Like Portia de la Rossi, she retired from acting. Yeah. They had to like go through a deal to ask her, can you please come back? We accept the fact that you retired from acting, but we would like to have your character come back.
It was a big deal.
Yeah. So, but apparently they revamped season 4. They like remastered it in a way where it goes back to the original format of the series. So instead of having like Michael's Arrested Development, they have it like a half-hour season. So instead of like having 13 episodes for season 4, there were 22 episodes. Oh. So if you go into Netflix, there's 2 versions of season 4. The original, and then I forget what they call it, the Regretful Consequences. Oh they just remastered it. Yeah, it was something. Funny. Yeah. So and I actually liked that better because it was something nice to have in the background. It was a lot quicker. It was, yes, did season 4 have the same appeal as seasons 1, 2, and 3? No, not really. But it was a lot quicker and it was a little bit more entertaining. And then also with the last season, that was like a very quirky whodunit. Yeah. And it was kind of nice to rewatch it. I was a little disappointed with the season, the series finale, but I guess that is just how the quirkiness of the TV show never really had a complete ending. Yeah. But it was just nice to rewatch the funny scenes, and Will Arnett is funny, and Jason Bateman, and Jessica Walters, rest in peace. I miss her so much. She was hilarious. So it was nice to rewatch those scenes and just see them all back together again. So
shout out to Liza Minnelli.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, she stole every scene she was in.
She was really, really good. I feel like No, she's Liza Minnelli.
Wait, what did you ask?
Do you say Liza Minnelli?
Yeah, Liza Minnelli.
Yeah, she died.
Stop it. She was still alive yesterday.
Wait, what?
What?
No, she did not.
Hang on.
You're gonna make me cry. I'm obsessed with Liza Minnelli.
She has not passed away.
Oh, thank you. I was gonna say. You know what happened to OJ? OJ Simpson died.
OJ did that. No,
Liza Minnelli outlived OJ Simpson, and there's a Twitter dedicated to Liza Minnelli outlives people, and so that's how people hear about it.
To be fair, according
to... Or maybe I was thinking Liz Taylor. She definitely
she's dead. She's dead. Yeah.
To be fair, according to also go Google, it says Hollywood legend Liza Minnelli seen for first time in a year 3 days ago.
Nice.
So I'm just like...
Oh, I know she's alive. I know she's alive.
No.
Literally?
I did not know they did a new season then.
Arrested Development? Yeah.
It's not a show for me.
I was going to say it's in my top 10 shows ever.
It is. And I feel like,
it.
yeah, it is.
I love that show so much.
And it kind of wanted me, it brought back memories like, okay, I wish this is what sitcoms were. Like now. Because it was just such a unique show, and the concept behind it, we're never going to see anything like it.
No, we're not.
I hope they will never do it, but they seem to want to reboot everything. I don't want them to reboot it because it's just like, it is one of those shows that it belongs in the Hall of Fame. It cannot be touched. It's just a very unique format that no one will ever capture those kind of moments again.
There's so many rewatchable scenes.
Oh yeah,
that I could talk about all day.
Jessica Walters in the yacht club, and when the waiter brings her the glass, she said, "Put it back." If I wanted to drink something that your finger touched, I would drink something out of the sink.
She is wild. She is wild. Or the scene where everyone imitates a chicken. Like, wait, have any of you ever seen the chicken? That show is crazy. I could watch it.
And I think that's why I decided to just rewatch it again, because like, I need something funny. I need something like memorable to watch again.
Everyone is so mean and so awful.
Yes,
and
they're like horrible
I love that everyone is just
I think that's why I can
insane.
never get into that Arrested Development or It's Always Sunny.
That's also my favorite. That's probably my top 3.
I've stayed clear of all of these shows and The Office. Like
no, The Office, because the American one is more like friendly to like the U.S. audience. People are nice.
Oh no, I like
the UK.
I like
Office
UK like humor because I've watched like Black Books. Love that show.
Oh, Black Books is so good.
Love it.
Well, everyone's awful in Black Books.
I know, but for some odd reason, it's a different type of awful, and so I can't watch like Arrested Development, Always Sunny. Like, there's something about those shows that I'm just
why
like,
are we always like this?
I don't know, man. It's always split.
Really?
I don't get it.
We are always on the same page.
I don't get it though, because I'm like, everybody's always going crazy about them. I'm just like, I like Jason Bateman. Like, I like watching him in movies,
but you just don't like him being awful.
There's just something about it where I just can't watch those shows.
I can't. I don't know if it's like, just for lack of, I don't know if it's because it's like terrible white people, but
what makes it great?
I mean, I see white people at its worst.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go outside for that.
Yeah. You gotta go to the Lower East Side for that.
Are they funny?
Exactly.
If I'm halfway up the block, they are.
I'm like,
but yeah, no, I don't know, man. Like, to be fair, I also fell off of watching like a lot of TV and sitcoms around mid 2000s and into like the 2010s.
Well, because I think it kind of tapered off, because I think it was after, I don't even know when it tapered off, because like It's Always Sunny, it seems like they're always like,
they're still ongoing.
Yeah, they're still ongoing.
And it seemed like they're always coming up with different stuff.
Like, I can watch clips of it and I'll laugh, but like I tried to sit through an episode and I was like, I can't.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, same with like Arrested Development and The Office. I can watch clips of them, but if I have to sit through the full episode, which isn't that long, but if I have to sit through the full episode, I'm just like, I'm good. I'm done.
There's this like one show that I see clips of all the time. I can't do terrible people, but I can't do terrible teenagers either. Like there's a show on, it's probably on FX, and I know we're like over kind of a bit over time, but it's fine. But I forgot what the show is called, but it's on FX, whatever, and it's about this woman who has like 3 kids and she's divorced, and like the middle child who's like either gender queer, just regular queer. Her name is Frankie.
Better Things?
Maybe it's Better Things.
Okay.
I want to smack that child. Because she always has something to say. And like the fact that the mom does not say anything to her and just lets her talk to her crazy, I'd be like, oh no. But there was like a similar show that I stopped watching. That's not a similar show at all. But it came on in like the early 2000s on USA. I think it was like it was about a sports doctor, basically.
Oh,
and she
Royal
No,
Royal
it wasn't.
Pains?
It wasn't Royal Pains because that was a dude. It was Rizzoli and it was the doctor
Rizzoli
from
and Isles?
It wasn't Rizzoli and Isles. It was the doctor. It was the Isles from Rizzoli and Isles. And she had 2 kids, and she was a sports doctor of some kind. And her kids were also little assholes. And I get teenagers are teenagers, but there's just like an extra level of, if you don't, I will smack you into next week if you don't get the fuck away from me, please.
Oh, interesting. She was in Shameless.
Isn't everyone always in Shameless?
See, that's another one. I fell off of Shameless because I started watching it and
more
I'm like,
terrible.
I was like, I can't take too much of this.
More terrible people.
Which is funny because Californication does remain as one of my favorite Showtime shows, which is also terrible fucking people.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
It's probably the humor and not the terrible people then, because you can read about terrible people. I think it's probably the humor.
It's the same reason even though I've watched episodes of it, like Seinfeld is just okay because I'm like,
I grew up with Seinfeld.
Well,
though,
we
so
all
like
did,
I can,
so, like,
so that one I can like sit through and watch.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like the familiar beats thing.
Yeah,
so I'm like, I know where this is going at least.
And they all end up in jail for being
I love
nuisances.
That's the ending. I love
and
that that's the ending.
And they deserve it. And they deserve it.
But, yeah, I mean, we can go on to another show on Netflix by, what's called From Evelyn, Ripley.
Oh, yes. So I did mention it earlier. It stars Andrew Scott. And if you want to see some really beautiful cinematography, I'm always going on about cinematography these days.
That's fine.
Because it's so, I don't know, when you see something good, you know it. And then you're like,
definitely.
Look at this beautiful scene. You know where every scene could be, you make a still of it, press pause, you look at it like, this is gorgeous. This could be a print. I could put it up on my wall in my apartment. Like, that's how beautiful it's
something
shot.
like that? Every frame a painting or something like
Yes,
that?
yes. Yeah, that's, this show could be that.
I have
It's
a
by
question.
written and directed by Steve Zalian.
Is it actually in black and white?
Yes, and actually
Oh my
I didn't
God.
know that. I thought it was just the first episode. We're in New York, so everything looks dingy, and by the time we get to Naples, it's going to be color, like Wizard of Oz situation. Yeah, it's going to be fabulous and beautiful, but it's not. And I was like a little confused by that. I was like,
that's
how do you not see
Andrew
the
Scott,
Italy landscape in color? You want to see that color, but
I just want to first say, like, when you said, like, I first thought it was in New York because everything was dingy and stuff.
yeah, no, back in the day, like this was in the 60s, I think we're talking.
Oh, so
the
it,
60s, yeah,
it
was
took
the dingy part of New York.
I thought you were talking about now.
Right now, it's not so dingy, but it's a grungier era, of New York. But
it's so funny though.
Incredible.
No, because I just looked it up because I was curious, and
it's
in
gorgeous.
black and white.
I mean,
I'm like,
look at that scene. Look at
Yeah,
that
no,
shot
that's
right
a
there
good
where she's
shot.
at the balcony. You see him. He's like
we're looking at
silhouetted by the
stills
arch.
for those of you that can't see what we're doing.
Yeah,
just Google image search Ripley on Netflix, and you'll see what we're talking about.
Written and
I
directed
wonder
by
why.
Steve Zalian.
Yeah, I wonder why the director and the cinematographer decided to do it entirely in black and white and not in color.
I didn't read what people thought about that, but my own understanding and from what I'm seeing, I'm only up to part 5. I think there's 10 in total. But from what I'm seeing is that it adds more of a sinister kind of vibe to it, and because we're dealing with murder, we're dealing with stolen identities and things like that, and a bit of little twists and turns here and there. I think that's maybe why we're doing that, and it maybe gives it a bit of that kind of film noirish vibe, I guess you could say. But so far I'm loving it. I think it's fantastic.
Well, actually, to that point, I don't know. You guys have seen Logan, right?
Yeah.
You can watch. They're on Blu-ray and DVD when they release it for home release. You can watch it in black and white, and it just feels like a completely different movie. So I'm like, maybe that's why.
The
There's
Wolverine
a vibe that goes
Logan.
with it.
Okay.
Yeah, the Wolverine Logan, Hugh Jackman Logan.
He's the only
Hugh
Logan.
Jackman as
Apparently.
Logan as Wolverine.
Yes. But yeah, no, you can watch it in black and white, and I did watch it when I finally got it, the Blu-ray, and I was like, it feels like a vastly different movie. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe that's why.
That could be it too.
Yeah.
And so other things that have to really stand out more: lighting, positioning, sets. The contrast between light and dark.
Yeah.
Something that you really have to look into. And not only that, I guess they mentioned Caravaggio a bit, which is not mentioned in the book. But for those not familiar with Caravaggio, the artist, chiaroscuro is his big thing. Light
Heavy
and dark.
chiaroscuro.
Heavy chiaroscuro. And so maybe that is kind of like tying in with the theme of what they're doing. It's also about class, obviously, you know, like lower class, higher class, and that clash that happens there. But yeah, definitely check it out. It's gorgeous.
I'm glad Andrew Scott is getting, I mean, not recognition, but I mean, he's getting the accolades that he deserves. Because, I mean,
what do you love him from, Whitney?
Obviously, Sherlock.
I thought you were going to say from Fleabag.
I've never seen Fleabag.
I've never seen Fleabag.
Gosh, you guys are missing out.
I know. I've heard great things. Yes. My best friend, I believe, watched
Okay, she
it
is
and loved
awful.
it.
She is awful, and I know you might not like that, but my God, it's so funny. And
he actually, because I think he was interviewed for Ripley, and and I think the interviewer is saying that a lot of people remember you from Fleabag, and they keep watching it, and they like the two main characters, and he was jokingly saying, "You guys need to get a life."
He's just blunt about it. Like, get
move on.
That's hilarious.
Like, watch me on Ripley.
It's like, hey, watch my new stuff.
Yeah,
Exactly.
don't watch my old stuff.
I mean, imagine someone bringing up Sherlock.
Even more so.
I will still bring up Charlotte.
No,
like, dude, you were awesome.
Such a good actor. He's so good.
Oh man. Well, speaking of Netflix, though, I watched The Brother's Son, and for some odd reason, I've rewatched the Jurassic Park trilogy.
The original?
Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World.
Okay. We're just making it
So
clear.
very briefly on The Brother's Son, I'm mad that Netflix has once more killed a very good TV show.
It's because they're brown.
Yeah, they're slightly tan.
Oh,
The Brother's Son, yeah.
I was like, who's brown?
Of color.
They're
I
of
know,
color.
yes. I was like,
But yeah, no, it's such a good show, and I'm mad that they just canceled it.
And the brothers are very attractive. So I don't know. Was it? They never released their ratings information.
No, because Netflix never does. But apparently they canceled it due to low viewership. And I'm like,
lies.
that feels like some bullshit. But as long as Michelle Yeoh keeps getting work, that's all that matters. Because it does remind me, she was also in Gunpowder Milkshake, which was another like Netflix produced movie.
Oh, I did like that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So I'm like,
I feel like Netflix is focusing more on either if they're focusing on Bridgerton because that's their juggernaut, or they're focusing on limited series or movies. Because it seems like they're spouting out a lot more movies than previous years. So that's why I feel like they're not as willing to renew TV shows as much. I mean, race can
Then
definitely
why
be a
have
factor.
TV shows is my why have TV shows?
yeah, I mean, my thing is also like, if you're gonna cancel it for low viewership, you also can't blame it on the fact that you didn't advertise for jack shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because like I don't remember seeing a single advertisement for Brother's Son until it was like a week away, and Netflix itself was like advertising it.
Yeah, no, that's completely true because I've seen more advertisements for, we're going to release the trailer for Bridgerton. It's coming up soon.
I've seen more trailers for Damsel, like more ads for Damsel.
Yeah.
Than
I did not know what that movie was.
No, but there's a giant poster of it on one of the subways, like just there.
Literally down.
Is it down here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, with like the giant dragon and Millie Bobby Brown like standing in front of it in a torn dress.
And then also they would advertise something that they newly acquired from Netflix. Like one time, I think along with Damsel, I saw them advertising the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah,
it was
which does not require advertising.
Exactly. So it was like, okay, so you need to know where your marketing lies. Like you can't say like, we're canceling for low viewership. It's like, well then what did you do to promote this show?
Yeah, and again, I'm just like, the choreography was so tight in Brother's Son that I'm like, this is the stuff that I would watch if I can find it. And it's getting harder and harder to find it unless it's like a movie or I just gotta go start watching international shows again. That's it.
You just have to start watching international shows.
That's it. Like, that's
There's
it.
no audience for it.
There's no audience for it here, and I'm mad because
It-
whoever did, there was a lovely drone shot of a fight scene that takes place on a golf course. That's just, they use that drone to full effect. There's like sweeping 360s as one of the brothers is like doing spinning kicks, and I'm just like, this is fantastic. this is like good TV show, like good TV.
I feel like the only way for those shows to succeed is if it's like a Chinese drama or like a K-drama,
exactly,
right? And they bring it to Netflix.
They bring it over to Netflix, yeah.
Versus
and that's so
Netflix
upsetting because I'm like, whoever did this did a good goddamn job.
I mean, because that's where Paramount Plus is leading towards, because they have seen that, well, not only because they don't have as many subscribers compared to either Netflix or Prime.
I subscribe.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. But that was because I got a Black Friday deal, which ends in this November.
Oh, I gotta do that.
But they, the CEO of Paramount Plus, they were saying, like, we are not focusing on original content. We're not going to focus on, like, you know, creating our own stuff. We're going to go outside of the United States, and export it and then bring it here. Because that's what they did with The Burning Girls. It was originally, I think, it was a partnership with Paramount Plus, but I feel like it was a British broadcasting company, and they were able to, like, they saved themselves money.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, like, they didn't have to do a lot of production costs and stuff. Compared to what Netflix is trying to do, they are producing it all, but then they just
cancel.
And then whine and say, like, oh, it's low viewership, even though we didn't really spend a lot of marketing capabilities of promoting the stuff in the first place.
It's wild. And just really briefly for Jurassic Park, I love those movies, and I'm glad to see that they still hold up.
Yes.
Even the third one, which is arguably the worst of the trilogy. Arguably.
No.
I liked all three of them. I didn't like the second one, though.
I didn't like the second one.
You thought the second one was the weaker. Okay.
I think the second one was the weaker. I really did like the third one because it really just brought it all together.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we really shouldn't be doing this. Like, we're playing God, and then this just let the world...
that was a statement of the second one, too, though.
I don't know.
I think what made it weak, the second one, even though I do like that version, is when they brought it to
San Francisco.
Yeah, when they took it off the island.
Give you that. That was that was funny, and it felt like it was done more for like the quick like laugh of like the kid seeing his seeing the T-Rex outside his window.
Right, because I feel like didn't Godzilla or come at the same around this,
the one that takes place in New York.
Yeah, I think they were trying to like compete.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, I think they were trying to compete with one another because like trying to brand.
About that.
I know.
It is terrible. I love watching that.
Yeah, because so they were like.
He did.
Matthew Broderick. To be fair, I only remember Matthew Broderick from Inspector Gadget. So
that was also terrible, but it's also good too. It's a bad movie.
For the second one, I think what I liked about it was the fact that it's the San Francisco part probably not necessary.
Yeah,
but the shots when they're on the island and like the whole wrangling and them like in the jeeps trying to catch things, that was fun. Yeah, and it was something different. Yeah.
No, but it was a fun movie. I just feel like there was I think the San Francisco thing really killed it. I just really liked the fact that they brought it back to the island.
And just kept it contained.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now this new one, it's like everyone's a clone.
We're clones. Watching the three movies, like, was like, you know what? Maybe I should watch Jurassic World, like the Jurassic World trilogy. And I'm like,
so here I saw the first one, Jurassic World. I liked it. Did I think it was better than Jurassic? God, no. I liked it. It was entertaining. It was it was exciting when they brought the original T-Rex to come to fight against the mutant dinosaur.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But then I saw the second one. I was like, okay, you guys don't know what you're doing.
Like, you guys have lost the real message of
exactly.
You guys are trying too hard now.
Yeah, they
you
really
are here
were.
for spectacle. You are not here for life lessons.
I was so bored, and I was I am so grateful that I borrowed the DVD from the library. Did not pay money
your
to
local
see
library.
Once more. Oh man, no, I think they're still on Prime, and that's where I'm gonna go watch them if I can find them. But Yeah, no, after the first one, I remember the trailer for the second one came out. I was like, I don't know if I want to actually watch this.
Yeah, and then I saw the third one.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
You're really
Except
not.
for the fact that it might be in the same universe as Fast and the Furious.
That's
hilarious.
hilarious.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I cannot wait for, the race where Dominic Toretto, tries to outrace a Velociraptor.
Let's go.
I just want
A Velociraptor
the-
with jetpacks.
I just want the T-Rex just squish him and then get it over.
Oh, no, just imagine just weaving in between the legs of, a T-Rex.
That's awesome. See, I'd watch that.
Yeah, I'd watch that too, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
It's
And
so funny.
Because I think they're
They're all
looking into
Universal,
rebooting.
yeah.
They're talking about rebooting Jurassic Park.
Again.
Why?
Some
Yeah.
more?
Why? I don't know if they're thinking of bringing
You know what?
Steven Spielberg back, but
as long as they keep it to 3 movies again, I think that's fine. Just keep
But I
rebooting
just-
it
I
every
feel
3
like-
movies.
but I feel like we get the point. We shouldn't play God. There, we got it.
Well, I mean, it's like Spider-Man. We're gonna have we're never not gonna
Oh
have
my
Spider-Man.
God. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Spider-Man.
We're never.
God.
Well,
It's
really
Tessa's
quickly,
Is it?
let's throw it to Tessa, who's going to be talking about the animes that she has been
Oh
rewatching.
my God.
Or no, watching for the first time, I think.
I'm slightly watching for the first time re-experiencing because so I kind of went on a not really a deep dive, a shallow dive of 90s 2000s anime because after hearing that a live action Yu Hakusho was on Netflix, I decided to rewatch the original series, which I know is several million episodes. It's a long series, not as long as One Piece. But Yu Hakusho was something that was a staple of my childhood, so I started watching it from the beginning. And I'm pleasantly surprised how well it holds up despite the 90s setting and 90s vibes of it. I'm just for me I'm just I'm maybe 12 episodes in. I told you it was a shallow dive. And I'm looking forward to the rest of how this show is paced. And on the other side of that, I started watching InuYasha for the first time.
InuYasha.
No, I started watching it for the first time. I only think it's not the first time I have because when I was also a youth, this was showing after school when I came home. And the first thing that I lamented once I started watching it on Netflix is they don't have the rights to the original opening theme. So I'm just here what's the point?
Are you not woken up at 1 o'clock?
That's a common theme with a lot of 90s TV shows because if you if you rewatch
the Pokemon
Charmed,
theme.
yeah, and
Wait,
if you rewatch
No.
Charmed,
Yes.
you can't. The original theme song that we heard, you can't. They
Oh,
don't play
really?
it anymore. They lost the rights
The old Charmed. Oh my God.
because
original?
the original because it's too expensive.
Oh, right.
Because they have to keep paying for
you would
it
have to
every
keep paying
time
for it.
because it's also in syndication. So they have to keep paying for it, and then also they have to pay for it for streaming.
Yes.
And that was the same thing that happened with Dawson's Creek.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because they temporarily
Aw.
they temporarily lost the rights because they were like, yeah, we had to play a different theme song because it was too expensive and we couldn't renew it. But then I think they managed to renew it, and if you rewatch the episodes, I think it's on Hulu. The original theme song.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
what I discovered about the InuYasha opening theme is that nobody has the rights for streaming. They only have it for the Blu-ray or the DVD, but they don't have anything for streaming. Even it's not even available on Spotify. Which there's a lot of anime music on Spotify, let's be real. And I'm used to something not being available on Spotify, but I think there's just something specific about this group and that opening theme that just renders it no, it's not on streaming. We don't have rights. It is what it is.
They have no representation.
No representation. But yeah, what surprised me about InuYasha though is because it's so easy for me to remember that it's nothing but the meme of Kagome and InuYasha just yelling each other's names back and forth for the entire series. But the early episodes are very good, actually.
No, it's a good show.
It's a good show. It's so easy to forget that it is a very good show because everyone just said, I think everyone kind of dismisses it because it's a girl-centered shonen anime. And it also reminds me that like the original isekai genre was originally like female dominated because it was always girls going into another world, and when it shifted to like males going to another world, it becomes a power fantasy, or
harem
or a harem.
Gross.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. The earliest female isekai that I've ever watched was Fushigi Yugi, and that was that was high-key kind of sexy and reverse harem like vibes. And I also dismissed it at first, but I remember reading the manga fairly recently because I borrowed it from the library. Support your local libraries.
This should be the subtitle.
Yeah. I read through like maybe the last like, oh my gosh, like it was an omnibus. I didn't even realize it was an omnibus when I borrowed it. I read like 10 volumes of Fushigi Yugi straight because despite the fact that I always I didn't like the protagonist of that show very much, I was very entertained by like how it progressed anyway, because it's a lot of her. She doesn't and this, I guess this is me also like be tangenting again to like female protagonists in anime like this, because like,
have you seen Escaflowne?
I need to.
I have it on DVD and you can borrow it.
Yes, thank you.
And the movie, because it is my favorite. The movie is garbage, and it completely rewrites the show, but Escaflowne is my favorite of like the time traveling, otherworld, isekai, shoujo isekai genre.
I needed to watch it. I've been meaning to watch it. I haven't had access to it. I will borrow the DVDs if I can.
Yes, because that's how I think Escaflowne. It's a shoujo isekai mecha anime.
It's everything I've ever wanted in my life.
It's similar to like this schoolgirl. She goes into another universe where there's like a prince who's battling his brother, but it's also kind of steampunky. But it's like Gundam meets InuYasha basically.
Yeah.
I just remember like, because it was on Toonami, right?
It was on the Fox Saturday morning cartoon.
All I remember is like some voice like for an ad just going Escaflowne. That's all I remember.
I just know it was
it
on
like
Fox
because
Fox yes.
Oh my god!
And I loved it. That's the one show. I think it was other than. Because I was never truly a Sailor Moon person,
I like Sailor
but
Moon.
Escaflowne was probably my first real foray into anime during that time. And that, if I had to do it, like, other than Bleach, Escaflowne, and Eureka 7, the original run are my favorite anime series of all time.
Nice.
So I can rewatch them, all of and plus the soundtrack, especially for Escaflowne, is like top tier.
Oh my god, the opening theme for Escaflowne is one of like it's one of the songs that will hit me very hard, even despite the fact I've never watched this show before. It's so good. It hits.
Our next actual book club, and not a fake one, I will just remind me, and I will let you have the DVDs.
I will send you a reminder. Oh my god. Yeah.
Right.
But like very quickly, the reason why like I was so like focused on watching these like types of shows is because like female protagonists seem like they're they get shoehorned into like very specific like types, and it's so sad for me to think that like the reason why I disliked the protagonist for Fushigi Yugi was because she was not very smart, she was kind of dumb, but the one redeeming quality she had, I think, was her loyalty to like her friends and her comrades, and even to the friend that who actually went to the other side against her. Like I didn't appreciate that until recently, and I'm just like, oh, maybe that's why I was like, maybe there's something in InuYasha I can reassess. And when I started watching it and really enjoyed it, I was like, oh my god, Kagome is not the protagonist I thought she was. She is actually like, she is stronger than I thought she was, or she was like more resourceful than I thought she was. And again, it's really big, and I misjudged it because everyone just reduces it to the same meme. That's all.
Alright. We are very short for time.
I think we'll be alright.
Alright. Well, let's throw it over to you and the Thai group.
Yeah.
That's what we all really want to know.
That's all I want to know. That's why I'm here.
So as I mentioned last time, I was looking very much forward to this Thai BL actor. His name is First. There's two First, but I'm talking about just one of them.
The first.
That's so funny.
There's two Thai actors named First, but
Who came first?
Who's on first?
I don't know. I think they're both the same age.
Oh my god, that's even funnier.
Oh my god.
But anyway.
Chris, sit up now.
But yeah, so he's a Thai actor. I know him because he's a BL actor, and I watch Thai BLs for the most part.
They're supposed to be very good.
Yo, they've been getting a little bit messy lately. Be more in like a cash grab type of like hurry up and put it out there without really thinking about plot and substance. But anyway, so it was his birthday this past week, and this group brought him to America just to like have a fan meet, and he came to New York and came to Texas. And so the New York thing was a 2-day group date thing, and I had I not had to work on the Saturday, I would have done both days because it was so cheap. It was like $300 for 2 days, and normally it's like if you want to meet your fave, it's like $300 for 5 minutes. Like,
oh my god.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, where would you spend $300 5 minutes for what?
To like meet like your favorite singer, your favorite actor,
like
a meet and greet.
Like a meet and greet.
Oh,
like yeah, it's like but for $300 for 2 days, you got to like do a bunch of stuff. But because I had to work one of the days, I can only do the first day, and so the first day was bowling in the evening, and we went to the Natural History Museum, and I took a bunch of pictures. But the first part was Natural History Museum we couldn't find where we were supposed to go, but luckily that didn't matter. But it was so weird because of two things. One is I could have gotten in for free. Could have gotten into the museum for free with Culture Pass.
Yeah.
And as just being a New Yorker.
Never mind.
And the second part is it was just so funny because it's basically him. It's like a group of like 20 people just following this one person around a museum. And it's
so funny.
It looks
the
ridiculous.
The visual of that is
amazing.
wild.
And so you have other tourists. Like, who is this person?
And he's dressed up.
Take it back. You went to the museum.
Yes.
You're there with the other girls first, I guess.
Yeah, and there were actual dudes there. There were
And
like
dude,
two.
oh, okay.
I'm sure.
Nice. And so when he first appears, what happens?
We were in the second part, right? It's hard to like. We're totally gonna go over time, but it's fine. So it was 2 hours, right? So those who bought the full weekend boyfriend experience package, aka shelled out $300 for 2 days,
Yeah.
they got to do like 2 hours of following him around the museum. But I only did the one day, so I only got the 1 hour. So from like 12 to 1.
Oh, that's not right. You should be like, you get 1 day and then you get the full 2 hours with him that day.
Look, I wish.
No, see if she had paid $150.
Oh, yes.
For a museum I could have gone to for free.
Yeah.
Again, you would have to go. You know what?
You know what?
It's not that bad.
So are you joining in the first hour or the second hour?
I joined in the second hour, and so they kicked out the people that did not have the full weekend package that did the 12 hour.
They kicked out.
I'm just imagining this whole like.
But this, I will say, I'm trying not to explain this terribly, but I will say that the whole thing was organized so well. Like, I wasn't gonna think, I thought it was gonna be a hot mess, but no, like the staff that were running it were on it. And so they made note of like, hey, if you were a new person, like come to the front so you can like get your moment, if you can like talk to him and like answer questions. And it was just a super fun time. You made friends. Everyone like took pictures for everyone else, just like, and we shared that. I left with like 10 extra followers on Instagram, but he was just so cute. He was so cute. It was a bit awkward for him, obviously, because here we are, we're just following you around a museum.
Yeah.
But he was just super nice. He answered some questions. He did his own tour thing. And then they were like, all right, once the hour was up, we were like, all right, we will meet you at the bowling alley. And we went to Bolero on Times Square. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure that's and it was like catered food.
Wow.
Everyone got to bowl, but it was such a huge chunk. And I could talk about this next time just for the essence of time. But because there was like 3 or 4 hours in between like the museum date and the bowling date, I went to go see Monkey Man, which I highly recommend everyone go see. But during the bowling, we were in a private room, and we all got to take like little Polaroids with him too. So I have like 2 of them. I'll show you after we're done recording what they look like. And we got to choose poses. So I did a heart pose the first time, and then I did like a cute little alfalfa little rascal type pose the second time. And then but during the bowling, we all got split up into like 9 teams. It was a lot more people, just because it was like after work hours anyway. And he would be your bowling buddy. So he would either so like funny. Bowl for you. He would either bowl for you or like bowl with you. And he was just he was ridiculously cute. He was so cute. To be honest, it was such a wonderful experience, and you met a lot of cool people and met a lot of like friends, or made a lot of friends who were like interested in the same thing. I hope they do it again. I hope they bring some other actors that I like in Thai. But I would do it again. If I'm not working, because I normally don't work on Saturdays, I would totally do the full boyfriend package, depending on who it was. Because I'm like, for me, and I'll like pass it on. For me, 2024 is my year of why not, and I'm just gonna do, if it sounds interesting, I'm gonna fucking do it, because it just sounds cool. But I had a wonderful time, would do it again, 10 out of 10 recommends. Like, if your favorite actor was like, spend a day with me for $150, I'm like, I
was gonna say
people
most
have paid
wouldn't
more.
Offer that.
Yeah,
so
no,
private.
most
actors are so private.
Exactly.
They don't want to partake with the fandom in that
Yeah.
way. And I wanted to ask you, like, is this something that other actors do from like Thai BL?
So funny you mentioned that. There's 2 of them right now that are coming in May, but they're going to be in LA, and they are Thai nicknames, Boss and Noel, or Noel,
probably.
It's spelled Noeul.
All right, I got no.
So I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, that's what I was
basically. So and they're like a BL pairing in they're a Thai BL pairing, so they do a lot of stuff together, both filming and other things. And the only thing they've ever filmed together was called Love in the Air. And you can watch... no, you can't watch that. You can watch most Thai BLs on YouTube, but you can't watch that on YouTube. It's very NC-17. But yeah, I would do it again. I think if they brought people here, I can't go to California in a month, but I mean, I could, but that would be so expensive.
Like when you first brought up this concept of the group date, I thought all the girls would be fighting each other.
That's what I thought too.
With, like, I paid $300 on 1 hour with this guy, not 5 minutes.
It seems like it was very organized.
It was so organized. It was super
so cool.
chill.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would do it again. I hope they bring... There's my favorite Thai... I have 2 favorite Thai actors, but one of them is Bible. And he's so hot. He's so hot. I would do it again. I would do it again. And again, I don't want to dominate because technically we are a little bit over time. Or the time that we allotted ourselves.
No, I wanted to hear about this. It's such a
we
knew that this was going to take a huge chunk of time.
A celebrity group date.
A celebrity group date, and it's just like, how? How? Like, and so you're on a date with not just like, even though there were 20, 30 other people there, you still felt pretty special. And again, I made a lot of friends. Yeah. And and I think, so the first day was, what was the first day? The first day was the museum and bowling. And then like the second day was something active, but then us paint and sip.
Yes, a hike.
I don't know.
Something active.
It's like a paint and sip
rock
or something. And to be perfectly honest, New York got the better of the deal because the one in Texas was just like.
But you said it was like a prom or something.
Yeah, it was like a prom. It was just like.
That's so
it was,
Texas.
It was just like. Auditorium with chairs, and he's like on a stage talking. And
it's not even like a dance?
Yeah, that's from the pictures I saw.
No. When you said prom, like I did picture like a gymnasium at least.
It wasn't a gymnasium.
But like...
that's not even...
But it was more like a banquet hall, and and it was like everyone sung him happy birthday. It was just... So New York definitely got the better of the deal, and I loved it. I would do it again. He's so cute. I wish, if we ever video record this, but I wish I could show everyone the little Polaroid.
You'd probably put it on the website if anything, but true. Like...
But yeah, I would do it again. It was money well spent, a time well spent. I'm just glad that I was not scammed.
Yeah. To be fair, that's the other thing.
Yeah, I was like, is this really
happening?
happening?
Yeah, I was like, because now I'm wondering, how did you get the tickets for this? Because it's not through like Ticketmaster, I assume.
It was Eventbrite.
Okay,
I don't know, but I heard about it maybe through YouTube. Not YouTube.
That's even
the TikTok.
Oh,
TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
I heard it through TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Just like following people and like who watch these things, who watch Thai BL.
Yeah.
But I don't want to dominate the conversation anymore, but
we'll talk
definitely for it.
Yeah. No, that's funny as hell. But,
I loved it. But go see Monkey Man, and that is kind of what I'm going to end with.
All right. Then we'll go to the Holly Jackson book signing.
Yes. That was me.
Yes, for Tabrizia.
So Holly Jackson is the author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which was a major bestseller when it was published in the UK, and then also when it came over to the US. It was, I think it got a lot of traction when it trended on TikTok. I want to say last year. But she came out with her latest book, The Reappearance of Rachel Price, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite books. Okay.
Sorry, we got the photos.
Yes,
we're going to put this up on one of our social media. This is the most cute. You're going to carry that with you all the time.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yes. Sorry, going back to the book signing.
Actually, I have a question. Were you able to take photos with your phone like regularly?
Yes.
So you have like a million photos.
I have a million.
Oh my god! Wait, you have to share that. I'm sorry.
I knew that this was going to take most of the time.
Okay, let me tell you something. Chris brought up, he looked up first, and he found the other first.
The first.
The first. And I was like, he looks okay, whatever. And then he found the real first, the one that you went on the date. He is cute.
They are the same age, though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're both,
Okay,
they're both
so
the
when you
same
said
age.
his birthday was near, we saw it was the wrong
That's how I looked
Yeah,
it up.
because he celebrated his actual birthday in Texas, I think.
So that would have been the draw to go there because it was his actual birthday.
Yeah.
Like, I get to celebrate my...
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Patricia and the book signing.
No, I still want to talk about it.
We'll have a special
We're going to have an
episode.
entire episode about the group date.
A mini episode just for the
probably
book date.
We had a feeling. We had a feeling that was going to take up most of the time. But yes, I went to the book signing for the
With your group date.
Oh my god.
Book signing is kind of like a group date.
Oh my god.
It's kind of like a group date. No, it's not.
So I went to the book signing. It was like, I think, I want to say 2 weeks ago, the first week in April, to Barnes & Noble's Union Square. It was her first U.S. appearance. She's never done a U.S. book tour before, and this was her first one. So it was really exciting. It was a sold-out event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
And you managed to get tickets.
Well, because when she announced it on social media, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to
The first
this.
one buying.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to this. Even though I read the book and it had a digital art, I was like, I'm definitely going to this. And I got in the first row because I got there early, so I got a good seat because they were just telling like, oh, just sit anywhere, and I was in the first group. She's a lovely person, a diabolical, mad genius, but she's hilarious. Holly Jackson. I didn't get to pose with her because that wasn't allowed, but you get to like take like a Barnes & Noble's employee was taking candid shots of like while she was talking with you and signing. She's hilarious. She's on one of my UK editions of As Good as Dead with water damage. She was like, what happened to this? I was like, well, I was so traumatized reading As Good as Dead. She's
Oh my
like,
god.
this is not tears, this is coffee.
Oh, that's amazing.
She said, I have good detective.
But you got her autograph and stuff?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She was she personalized, they were only personalizing one, but anything else that you had by her, she'll sign. So I had like 3 other books by her. So I brought those to
Did you
sign.
do an author talk with her?
No, I would love to, but I feel that she is so busy because.
Well, that's what you can use your funding for.
But she's so busy because they're doing a TV show for A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's first going to air in the UK, and I think it's going to come to the US. I hope so. I really do. So she was working a lot right now. But yeah, it was a lovely time meeting her. Not as exciting as the group date.
Clearly.
Is anything?
Okay, be nice. Because I was going to pass it off to you. Yes, it is your turn.
The Beatrix Polly.
Yes.
That you presumably
Not
would
as
see.
exciting as a group date.
Oh my god.
No, it is very, very cute, adorable. Like my childhood, obviously, I read a lot of Beatrix Potter, Tale of Peter Rabbit, that kind of stuff. But at the Morgan Library and Museum, they have an exhibit that's ongoing, and check it out if you love it. Oh my god, like those illustrations are just basically the cutest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing cuter. There's really nothing cuter.
She was very talented, and also I'm shocked that she became a children's illustrator and writer instead of something more macabre and morbid, because she would like to dissect looking into Anne. Yeah.
That's
Oh no,
right.
yeah,
I
she
did
was
not know
really
that.
she would dissect like
the dead animals that
Did
would
she find.
find.
Do Velveteen Rabbit, or is that someone else?
No, that's someone else.
Okay,
That's someone
yeah.
else. This one is way older, but
Yeah.
she's liked bugs too. You know, it's not very rare that little
Yeah.
girls like to look at like really gross bugs and
So
illustrate
she's
them.
great.
Oh, that's so wild. Okay, that makes a lot of no. Sorry, quick tangent on the Beatrix Potter thing because there is a horror book by T. Kingfisher called What Moves the Dead,
Yeah.
and there's a character there that is mildly based on Beatrix Potter, and I did not know that this bit of like the illustrating like kind of macabre things is part of that.
Yeah, no, you have to check out the
it's like
exhibit.
with-
It's so
I need to go. I must go.
anthropomorphic
Junji
animals.
Oh, Junji Ito
Who's
being a
like-
lovely cat person in real
Oh,
life.
yeah.
And then writes the most craziest things.
No, I mean, she's got that side of her, but she's also like she loves animals and she loves preserving like farmland
because
and nature and the Lake District. And
Yes,
all
because
that.
she bought she bought most of the land in the Lake District, and because it was in danger of being like redeveloped
Commercialized
and
or
and
something?
commercialized, so she bought it up, and then when she died, she gave it to the National Trust, and it was like the start of the National Trust in order for them to preserve lands and artifacts just like the Lake District. So it is she was
cool.
she was the really start of it but she was like a great illustrator, writer, and entrepreneur, because she even tried to like do, because I saw it at the Morgan, like she tried to do a board game.
They said it was too complicated.
They said, "What is
It
this?"
was very complicated. There's so many numbers.
So it was like this little circle, and then he was like, "Oh, go here. No, wait, go here." I'm like,
So many
what?
numbers. I didn't understand all those numbers, but she marketed herself really well, and even the fact that the books were like tiny size for children's hands, like that's so great. Like
That's cool.
Yeah.
And me and Tabrizia are going to the Lake District at the end of the month, so we're gonna do a little
That's
Beatrix
going to be for
Potter
the
tour.
next podcast as well.
So good. Pass it on.
Yeah, but just to really quick, Tessa and I went to see the Fall Out Boy concert in Madison Square Garden. It was awesome. What really got me was just because we were there from the beginning, so we saw like the opening bands and stuff like that.
Who was the opening?
Games We Play.
Games We Play, which is a more recent band. Just hilarious energy on stage from the lead singer.
It was great.
And he was also like joking around. He brought his brother up on stage.
He was like, if anyone wants to date my brother, he's single.
He's single. He's bisexual.
He's bisexual.
And then he's
help my brother find a girlfriend or a
he's
boyfriend.
like,
It was great. He learned the
Really?
bass for you, I think.
Yeah,
because the brother also performed on stage.
exactly. It was
with
like
them.
very. If you ever seen like concerts for like in a smaller space.
Oh yeah.
That was the energy they had, and like the stadium wasn't full yet because a lot of people were obviously coming in later. They only wanted to see like the main event. So to see that on stage, they had like a very handmade banner saying like Games We Play in the back. It was just fun to watch.
I love
And
it.
then who was the other one that came out?
Hold on.
Forgot the name of that band. Was it Hot Mulligan? Yeah.
Hot Mulligan, yes.
Hot Mulligan showed up. Just they also had like a banner, but it was like strung onto the curtains. So like when it closed, it said Hot Mulligan in Madison Square Garden, and it's just like the little level up of like indie band to like slightly bigger band, because they also had lights going on for their shows. Which kept blinding the hell out of us.
Oh yeah,
When it'll randomly
just
go
like-
and just boom, like lasers in your eyes.
oh yes,
So-
lasers right into our eyes.
Yeah, no, and it was great. Never really heard Hot Mulligan before, and I'm just like, all right, this is like very classic screamo emo band, very angry, very cool. And then not Less Than Jake, Jimmy Eat World. Jimmy Eat World took the stage.
And I lost my ever loving mind.
Yeah, it was again good to see what happens. Like, it's interesting to see how bands progress in like their performances as they get more and more experience. Because Jimmy Eat World came up, and I don't remember they didn't have a banner or anything saying like Jimmy Eat World. They just had
not.
like a closed curtain that was like behind them, and their like light sequences were well timed. They had a fog machine going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Jimmy Eat World, it was like it was, remember how we were saying that we kept getting blinded by Hot Mulligan? The level up to Jimmy Eat World having literally the perfect sound levels, well adjusted like light coordination. I'm just like snaps.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
tighter set.
Yeah,
it's
such a
so
tighter
good.
set, and it was. I never thought I would actually see Jimmy Eat World live, just because like they're an older band, and I don't think they regularly come to the East Coast. So
How long was the concert?
the concert itself, we got there.
We got
like
there
I said, like for the first opening set, so that was 7, I think.
According to this, we arrived around like 6:30ish.
6:30ish, yeah.
And
So
then
it started at
ended-
7.
And when did it end?
Let's find out. I'm looking at the
I'll
pictures
say
right
10 or 11.
now. 11 o'clock.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long was the Fall Out Boy
The
set?
Fall Out Boy set was pretty long.
Very
So, like,
long.
okay.
It was
my
like,
gosh.
because I think it started at 9 or 9:30 to 11.
Let me pull
Yeah.
up the footage.
And we took a
The
lot of video.
evidence.
And no, just watching Fall Out Boy, which was like, a band that I grew up
Fall Out
listening
Boy
to.
definitely took the stage around 9, or they were like teasing at 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just so wild. They played songs from like their first album. And I know when that was it wasn't Reinventing the Wheel where I lost my shit, was it?
You lost your shit at
Where were your seats? Was it in the pit? Or?
No, we
Not
weren't
in
in
the
the
pit.
pit. Although we do have a friend who was in the pit.
Oh,
yeah, I found out. We
We
found out. I
found
found
out.
out based on her like Instagram videos.
That she was
like
in the
she was
pit.
in the
No,
pit.
we were in like the chase holder, so we were on like the second level up. Yeah. But yeah, no, like they played a lot of songs. I got a huge surprise because they brought the lead singer of Academy Is,
Oh my god.
which like disbanded before I could even go to one of their concerts. Then regrouped last year, I think. And like the lead singer was there, and they performed one of the Academy Is songs, and that was absolutely like wild.
Yeah, you lost your mind.
Yeah, I
also.
lost my mind. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, though I'm not sure if you lost your mind at like Tell That Make That He Just Made My List of Things
Yeah,
to
it
Do Today
was
or
one
Grand
of-
Theft Auto.
Yeah, because it was
Oh my
like
god,
this.
Grand Theft, you're taking me back.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Now imagine that, but like the feeling is amplified by 100, because you
Yeah.
have all of the other like fans in the arena just screaming.
Literally, like they dropped Sugar We're Going Down like so early in the set, and that's when I was like, I'm here. that was like, I'm here, I'm in it. This is Fall Out Boy.
Yeah,
We're
no,
here.
it was a lot of fun, and like the last concert that I saw in Madison Square Garden was the Gorillas, which is such a different vibe to their concert. That
Are they people or is it them?
Yes, they are
cartoon?
people. They are people. Although that's what I'm saying though. Like their vibe is different because what they did was they had a giant screen on the like above the stage, showing videos, showing the characters like in between songs, like just doing goofy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. When they would take the stage, what they would do is they had no lights on them. So they would be on stage, and you can see them, like, people moving around, but there's no spotlights. And then they'd have, like, special guests show up. They'd have the spotlights instead of the, like, whoever was acting as the band.
Oh.
Yeah, because their whole thing was, like,
Yeah,
on the
the-
screen,
yeah,
like, playing the
characters,
videos, yeah.
That sounds like that. What's the recent controversy with the Japanese virtual singer?
Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
Miku.
Oh yeah, because they didn't get the 3D projection or
Yeah.
something running in time, so they did like a 2D thing.
Yeah. And people spent like money.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
concerts I heard are super expensive.
They're super
so.
expensive and they're super insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so did either of you guys see Fall Out Boy back in the day or anything?
No, because I
I
never got the
have.
chance.
This was my first arena like concert.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats.
Yes.
No way.
Says the person that's like,
Yeah, you've seen like how many shows at this point?
I'm seeing Megan the Stallion
There you go.
in May. I'm so
No,
excited.
I like a lot. I missed out on a lot of concerts like when I was younger because I was
gonna
either
say, that's
always
the time to go.
I was always either working or I was broke. There was no in between.
Never.
No, I didn't. No, I really did not.
Beg and plead.
Oh my
No
god.
way.
a
My
lot.
mom would never.
My mom took me to a concert
Stop
once.
it.
It was like one of those like, I hesitate to say it because I don't know what the artist was, but it was like a very
Like old school,
yeah,
traditional.
very old school.
Yeah,
Like it was
but-
like a singer from their time,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, it's cool. I've got seats. The music is fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I'm sure if I had asked my mom to get me tickets, she might have. But like there was, I don't know, there was always just like
rich buddies. I don't know.
I didn't have any. But no, it was like because like I went to the Warped Tour when I was like in my 20s.
Like back in the day, you had that kind of energy. You could go to the pit. You could go crazy.
And I did go to. Me and my friend ran through the wall of death. For,
I know. That's what it is. Like you can only do that when you're young.
And like that's how I saw Foo Fighters live. I saw My Chemical Romance live that way. I saw Motion City soundtrack.
Okay. So at least you got to see.
Yeah, and but like I think by that point, Fall Out Boy had already gone on a hiatus.
Yeah.
By the time I was like really able to go and like to concerts and stuff like that, and then sometimes I just didn't have friends who were like either free to go with me or like listening to the same music that I was at the time. So I didn't. Because I've seen.
I just go by myself.
Yeah, something that apparently I cannot do.
I gotta do that too for like a concert.
I want somebody to like.
I can't go. I can't do like the loud music concerts. I need it has to be soft and soothing. I can't do that. I sound like an old lady.
I will. Go to Lincoln Center
or Carnegie Hall and.
Well, I love that too.
We've been to like the Zelda Orchestra. We've been to Nightmare Before. We've been to Nightmare Before Christmas live,
which was so much fun.
That's good.
Yeah. No. If anything, for Fall Out Boy, like this being my first arena concert, the energy was just like it's not what I expected, and I'm happy that it was like so high energy and so like engaging, like, and literally everyone like around us losing their mind except for whoever was sitting right next to us. Whoever was sitting right next to us was just like they looked like they didn't even want to be here.
Yeah, like they got free tickets or something like that.
Killer, right? Sometimes where you sit really depends, like who's around you.
It really does.
Like the couple next to Tessa felt like they got tickets for free and had to show up because this was a corporate thing, and they're just like, yes, fine, we accept the tickets. Couldn't give them away, so they just showed up. But the
girls next to you,
like the women that were next to me, one of them just kept dancing and like whipping her hair in my face. I'm like, oh hell, I was about to let my hair down and be like, all right, let's go.
Hair fight.
It's about to pop.
My hair is a lot coarser than yours, so this will hurt you.
I think that's what really.
But that's the thing, that was like good energy to have, and that's the only reason I was like,
the dead fish.
There was someone like a couple of rows down that was rocking out to every single thing.
Oh yeah,
and I'm just like, good for you.
You gotta have that.
It was great.
Man.
If anything, I lost my mind like when they played "Get Busy Living" or "Get Busy Dying," because that's like one of the songs that I loved from Under the Cork Tree, and I was just like, I can't believe they put this on. It was very like, I can't believe they have this on.
Hits and then some.
Oh yeah, no, and that's what surprised me the most, because I thought it was just gonna be their newer album and then maybe like a couple of old hits that they had, but no, they really went
through it.
They really went hard with like the flashbacks.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Whew. All right.
All of my
We are in our last segment.
Yes, we are. Which actually, no one wrote anything for positive notes. So what you got?
Notes. We had aside from surviving the apocalypse.
So we did survive. So we did do this out of order because we did survive the apocalypse. But a couple of things that I'm looking forward to, just to end on a positive note. Again, resident K-pop crazy person here. I just found out that ATEEZ is dropping tour dates and going on tour this summer, and they will be playing in Citi Field.
Oh, okay.
So excited to see. They have a nice little whiskey bar there.
It is a nice venue.
And it's a superior venue. And it's cheaper. I don't have to trek to Jersey. I don't have to trek to Long Island to do UBS Arena. So they are here. And then, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I'm seeing Megan Thee Stallion in a month.
Where?
Nice.
Philly, because one, it was cheaper, and two, there was a concert that I really wanted to go to the same day when she was playing in Madison Square Garden. And so it's going to be 2 days of me doing concerts, and this is happening right after Anti-Prom. So I know the month of May, don't ask me to do anything, because I will be dead. So I'm super looking forward to that. Plus my dad is getting an award in May, so I have to go up. And it's going to be all of all of me, my dad, and all of my siblings together. We haven't been together in a long time.
Aw,
So
that's
I'm
nice.
super excited. But that's it. Unless anyone else has positive things to talk about.
Well, we have Evelyn and I have our trip
Oh yes.
in a
yes,
couple
that
of
is a positive thing
weeks,
to look forward to.
and we are shocked that it's already April, and we're like, wait, we actually have to plan for this now.
No, legitimately. It's mid-April.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at
like-
that
What do you
So-
mean it's the middle of April? What is time?
So we're really excited for that because we do have things that we would like to plan out. Unfortunately, may not be seeing a Manchester City game.
Yeah.
And
It got complicated,
yeah, it was
yeah.
really complicated.
It got
But on a positive note, and I just found out that Manchester City is coming to New York. They're coming. They're doing an exhibition game with Real Madrid.
I thought it was AC Milan.
Oh, AC Milan. Yes, thank you.
Still
AC
Which
Milan.
I sort of am supporting too.
Oh my god. You're just gonna
Not while I'm there.
On the team, so.
Not while I'm there. Okay.
For those
There you go.
listening, this is an AC Milan keychain
It
on
is.
my bag. Yeah,
And
I
it's
can
going to
confirm
be
that.
off her bag at the end of the podcast.
It's very true. It's very true. It's a little teddy bear.
So yeah, they're coming to Yankee Stadium to play July 27th, and Evelyn, Whitney, and I, with my mom, we're going. So that will be
Super
pretty
excited.
fun. Yeah,
That's
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Another thing to look
Chris, Tessa?
I don't have anything in mind right now.
Except for the fact, super quickly, and then we can definitely move on. For those of you that don't know, Tessa
yes.
and Chris are engaged, and we threw them a party.
Surprise.
A surprise last week.
I still don't know what happened.
That's right.
It
Yeah.
was paint and sip and dinner, and so I guess we are all looking forward to an official day for when.
So are we, honestly.
So we're all looking for an
To be
official
fair, we
day.
have talked about it. We just cannot pin down a day.
Yeah, we haven't pinned down a date because like it's going to be. We know what it's going to be like. We don't know when.
Yeah.
Just give us a date and we'll show up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
No, and like also we have to alert our friend in the UK.
Oh, Mickey. Yeah.
Like yeah, so that she
Mikey,
can fly
sorry.
in.
No,
Yeah.
you're good.
So she can just fly in and be a witness.
She's told us she needs at least like 48 hours notice and she can go. And
So technically, you could by next week.
We could.
listen, if the apocalypse had any like bearing on decisions we were making, maybe.
But no, yeah, we have talked about it. We definitely want to do it before this year is over.
Huh.
But
You mean like the wedding itself, or do you mean like to get a date before the year is over?
Let's start with a date.
Okay.
Let's have a date before the end of the
Look,
year.
come on, let's be real. You and Matt both showed up late here by a half hour.
That's
Timing is not exactly right.
Let's just have a date by the end of the
Yeah,
year.
exactly.
You know what? That's really fair.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So with that, that's the end of our podcast. For plugs and highlights, just the same as before. So check out the library zine.
Yep, you can go to bit.ly/L in library, capital Z in zine, and you can follow Tabrizia on her blog, Cup of
Tea
Tea with that book, please.
All right, and thank you for listening to Fake Book Club. You can listen to us on Spotify and SoundCloud. You can visit our website at what is it?
Fake Book
Fake
Club,
Book Club.
podcast.wordpress.com.
There you go.
I was going to say .org.
We don't got that money.
You can also find us. No, that's it. You can also find us on Facebook.
Yes.
Under
And
Fake Book-
Substack.
And Substack.
Yes.
Next time we'll be talking about current evolution.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Random things we've watched next month. In a month?
In a month.
In a month.
It just says in month.
Bye.